All right, let's take a look at this, man. I actually knew about this new potential tropical storm last week because you guys got to remember, like, these models, these weather models, whether it's the US or European models, they're usually like 7 days ahead. So it's a rolling 7 days, 7 to 10 days ahead, where their models can, through algorithms, figure out what's going to happen in certain areas and map it out. So last week, while everyone was talking about Helene, there was another one developing, or at least the models were showing that it would develop in Central America area, right? So now we're here a few days later, and it is starting to develop. Let's take a look at what Mr. Weatherman has said on this new potential tropical storm. It is I think, lower depression, but I don't put anything past these guys. I know it's hurricane season, whoop-de-doo. We shouldn't be surprised, right? However, because we know this stuff exists, I'm going to show you an actual article straight from the horse's mouth. We're going to take a look at an article that talks about weather modification projects and reports. So it's like, you can't act like this is not a possibility, because we know from official channels that this is a possibility. So we'll look at this article here at the end. I want to show you a couple things that are crazy. But let's take a quick look at this video.
Up in the Western Caribbean, thank you for all the comments. We've had rain in parts of Belize, San Andres, Providencia, parts of Honduras, Nicaragua, some really heavy rain. Now this spot, I'm not sure if it is going to develop yet, but regardless, we know that when we get big areas of rain right here, we do not need a named system for the potential of some serious flooding. So that's a high concern. I'll get into the chances that area becomes a tropical storm and a hurricane. We are in monitor mode. I'll cover that, but I am more certain, or at least a higher likelihood, that that area out in the Atlantic does eventually develop. So there's now a higher chance that this spot here, here's the coast of Africa, here we are, Barbados, Dominica, Trinidad, St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda. It is a higher likelihood at this point that eventually this area becomes a tropical storm or a hurricane.
Yeah, that one I am aware of, and I got an article from Zero Hedge we'll take a look at from the National Hurricane Center. They're tracking this one he's talking about right now. They have not yet put any information on the one in Central America area, which is weird, to say the least.
So let's start here close to home. We are in monitor mode, the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, right on the edge of Costa Rica, and keeping an eye on Guatemala and El Salvador as that rain builds. What is monitor mode? It's just a wait and see, right? So we are just kind of spreading the word that, hey, there's a chance of a named storm, but at the least, the biggest concern.
It's coming. Don't worry. It's coming. Wouldn't be surprised if it made landfall on November 4th. Round of applause to that. The way this shit is going, it's ridiculous. The Truman Show, ladies and gents, the Truman Show.
Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, down the road, we can see that rain chance bumping up, especially by the middle of the week. So we can see a higher chance of rain, even over toward Cuba. But monitor mode right now, much of Central America. So thank you for spreading the word about this channel, kind of getting the correct information out there. I know there's a lot of crazy information out there right now. So I do this channel for safety and accuracy. And you can see here, starting close to home, this area here, not much of a change from yesterday. The rain is the biggest concern.
See, the GFS is the US model, which has been quite accurate, more accurate than the European, which normally you zoom out, the European model usually is more accurate, but the GFS has been more accurate lately than the European. So it's saying we're going to have a hurricane.
The European model still does not have this develop into a named storm. The American model does have it develop into a hurricane, but it's kind of put it a little bit more back in time, which tells me it's not completely accurate at this point. We'll cover more of that. The Canadian model does not have this becoming a storm, and the Icon
Canadian model
has this becoming either a tropical depression or a tropical storm. It starts to really see something spinning up. But the biggest threat, regardless of this here, is that rain. So watching that.
Look at Justin Trudeau, the CMC Canadian model. No hurricane, no storm, nothing. Why are we even paying attention to it? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to offend my Canadians out there. I love y'all. But come on, man. Justin Trudeau, get your country together. You're in a race to beat the United States towards communism. At this point, from what I understand, I got some Canadian subscribers. you guys are in first place. Round of applause for that. But as you can see, shit's getting real again. And how convenient, right before the election. Now, we don't want to confuse or, fall down the causation correlation fallacy. I understand that. I'm sure you do as well. Everything that's correlated doesn't mean it's a causation there. But come on, 2 main hurricanes. One made a very, very suspicious and suspect turn when it got inland. We know that they can modify weather. So this is not out of the realm of possibility at all. And we would never know the truth. So I can't give you hard evidence on that, but I'm just letting you know to keep your mind open about what is possible, because there's a lot of things that are possible, but what's the probability? Probability is high that some of these weather patterns have been modified ahead of the election. They'll do anything. They've tried to kill them twice. They've tried all these various legal hang-ups and get them jammed up in court. And why wouldn't they go even further to stop people from voting and to stop people, or at least hinder people from voting and give them a way? Really, they don't even need to stop you from voting. They just need a reason to use as kind of like camouflage so that they can potentially rig things. Just saying. Not saying that they are. I'm just giving you my opinion on how things could possibly be lining up. You need a cover story. You need something to, carrot dangle over here, and then you do whatever you need on the other side. So as I've stated, we've got National Hurricane Center watching that one depression out there in the Atlantic. We'll see how that pans out. Here are some of the what they call spaghetti models as far as where it will lead. And a lot of it has it tracking on average towards, it looks like, Puerto Rico in that area. But this is the disturbing thing with this whole situation. And Helene and Milton, I was at the grocery store today and saw a new person there, new lady serving food in the hot area. And we struck a conversation and she tells me, yeah, I've been displaced. I'm permanently displaced. I've moved up here from Florida because I lost everything. Home destroyed. No insurance to cover that. These insurance companies will pretty much stick it to a lot of Floridians. Millions of people will get shafted. And you got to wonder, what's the economic impact from that? The government numbers won't share that with you. All they're going to do is show you the economic activity thereafter. And that is going to add into the GDP. A lot of people don't realize that. When you have national disasters and stuff, it actually bumps the GDP up. GDP number is just measuring economic activity, good or bad. So when you have rebuilding going on, people getting their homes back in order, infrastructure being rebuilt, all that adds to the GDP. So it's kind of like 2 birds with 1 stone. If this is something that a deep state group is doing, they're able to obfuscate their plans to take the election, and in addition to that, boost GDP when the numbers start coming out next year, so they can tell you, hey, you're crazy. We're not in a recession. We're in a great soft landing economy, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for that. Yeah, buddy. So we got 2 situations to watch out for. One out in the deep Atlantic, possibly turning into something, but I'm more concerned about the one from this video and that I knew about last week. Keep your eye out on this. This may turn into something major. We don't know yet, but if I had to put some money on it, I would say it would. Don't know what their strategy is, if they are helping foster these types of systems. I don't know what their strategy is with that. Let me know in the comments below on how do you think, if it is the case, not saying that it is, but if it is the case that the deep state is using a HARP-like system or some type of DARPA system in the South Pole, that's a known thing as well. Do a search for neutrino detectors in the South Pole and how that system, that base in the South Pole, was actually behind the earthquake that hit Christchurch, Australia a few years ago. Don't forget about that. But look up these different tactics that they can use and let me know what reason would they use that right now. I have my reasons, but I'm definitely interested in knowing what your reasons are. And before we get out of here, I got to show you this clip from Anthony Bourdainero. He is talking about FEMA and how they're broke. But more importantly, this is what I'm saying, guys. It's time to wake up. More importantly, we've got Congress not willing to reconvene before the election to help those in need. in North Carolina and in Florida. This is what I mean by this is not a left-right, though the left is the biggest and baddest actor here. The right is just as much to blame. And this is why they don't want Trump in, because Trump is not for running the lines of the grand old party. He ain't with that either. He's trying to take us in a new direction, give us solutions that will help solve a lot of these issues, though I've been very vocal about Trump not being able to solve everything. He is not the end all be all, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm just saying at least he's going in the right direction. The left and the right, they have run our country into the ground. And it's time that we get these people out on the left and right. It has to happen because you have stuff like this. I'm going to show you. You have stuff like this happening in our Congress right now. They will not reconvene because they're lazy. They don't care. They know that we aren't going to do anything. So check this out.
But here's the problem, guys. Congress has no plans to reconvene the House of Representatives before the election to address the disaster funding. So it's almost a guarantee that FEMA is going to run out of money, and fast. The SBA, they're already talking about how their money is going to run out before the end of October as well. So it looks like both organizations are going to be broke by Halloween. And the crazy thing is this is like a snowball effect, because if people cannot apply for SBA loans, then that will force those same people to sign up for FEMA emergency aid, and they could have gotten some money from the SBA instead. So because all these organizations...
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Definitely want to know, what do you think would be the biggest reason for them to manipulate the weather? Is it just strictly for the elections, or is there something even deeper than that they're trying to achieve behind our backs? It's your boy Crypto Blood. Like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. I'm out of here, people. Holla!
Yo, it's Crypto Blood, Detroit flow, streaming from the D, knowing what the show indicators are on point. OG since 12, invested in trading, living life.